Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Real Sports Scope. I'm your host, Robert Butler. On this, what is today, the 15th day? I'm rushing things away of May. Got the Mad New Yorker backstage here. We're going to go over NBA playoffs, talk a little bit of the NFL schedule release, throw in a little bit what's his thoughts about this lottery, and Cooper Flagg going to the Dallas Mavericks, everybody. So, stand by. We'll take our first only break. We'll be back here shortly. We'll hit the ground running here on the Real Sports Scope. Hello, Sports Scope followers. The program has seen tremendous growth since going 5 days a week. I just wanted to thank everybody for your cash contributions and sharing the program with friends and families. Just a reminder, if you want to contribute to the program, go to the Cash App, the cash sign, and Sports Scope. There are other ways to contribute to the program listed at the bottom of the screen. If you want to advertise on the program, go to sports, that is sports with an S, another S, scope, SKOPE, at gmail.com, just like it's listed at the bottom of the screen. Thank you and enjoy the program. Righty then, now I'm back here live. Let's bring in the Mad New York. Hey, man, how's it going tonight, Chief?
Hey, how you doing, guy? Listen, everything's good. The weather's a little bit better. Hopefully these New York teams pick up and wins, and we'll be all right, right? That's what the weekend is for. That's what the weekend is for.
All right. Jeff, can you speak up just a little bit more? Are you on that other camera phone thing again?
No, I'm actually on the computer now. Can you hear me?
Oh, okay, yeah, that's a lot better. Want to get your thoughts about Knicks last night. I think maybe just Boston just got the hot hand, hit everything they'd thrown up. I still think New York will probably win this series. What your thoughts about last night's game? Did they let one get away from them?
Well, I feel like when we had this conversation a few days ago, I was like, they were giving New York fans a huge concept of hope, right? Like, I feel when you watch these games, I've watched them play Detroit. They had to come back and win a few times in that series, and now in this series, they have to come back 20 points and win. Like, you can't just keep doing that. That can't be your MO. You have to play better. You have to do better. When they picked up Towns, I said it was almost like, and they got rid of Randall. It's like it's almost a swap. You just one player is better at something else than the other player. So I wasn't really happy about that.
Maybe a worse defender than Randall.
Yeah. So I mean, listen, Randall's playing better now, but that's something else.
He's fitting great up there.
Yeah, but I mean, he's still the same type of player. They're not going to win a championship, so I'm not worried about that. But for the Knicks, it's coaching is going to be what it is. People don't need to try to reach for Thibodeau. He is who he is. He's always showed his cards. It's not going to change. I'm not sure what he's trying to do and accomplish with Towns. I'm not sure what that is and his goal is. But all I know is this: if White gets more than 20 points, if Jaylen Brown gets more than 20 points, and then the rest of that bench is averaging 9 to 10 points, the Knicks are done. The Knicks are done. Like, it doesn't matter who.
So you're saying even without Tatum, you think the Celtics can win the next two?
The Celtics have won games without Tatum all season. Without Porzingis, without Tatum, they've won games.
Yeah.
This is not a team that is reaching for and needs to be having a superstar on the roster. This is a championship-tested, a championship caliber team, and they will string things together. Yesterday, they had one guy had 7 blocks. If you just average the 7 blocks for 2 points, and it wasn't all like 2-pointers, but that's 14 points that the Knicks didn't make because this guy had 7 blocks. The rest of the team had 8 blocks, right? So it was like, I mean, look, this is a situation that the Knicks should have took care of, and they didn't. And if they think that they're gonna go home and just bully the Boston Celtics, they dreaming. They got to play ball. And Boston Celtics, look, like, you guys have to step up, man. You're a championship caliber team. You can't just be like, we're going to lead by 15 and then we're going to give them 20 points. Like, This is an up and down, even like all the teams are even keel. Any team can win, and it's just terrible. It's good for competition and watching
because good parity. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's terrible for if you're like trying to bet and trying to bet points and trying to bet like different types of.
Well, yeah, if you're a coach and you think you got the better team, you don't want to let a team hang around like that.
All these coaches are not stepping in, or I don't even know if the players are listening to these coaches. Like, look, Boston can win if they start attacking the inside, getting Towns in foul trouble, and then work their way out to the 3-point line. They're gonna win the game if they do that. If they do the other way around, just start shooting threes, they're going to be in the same boat and predicament that they've been in the last few games that they've been in. So it's not rocket science, man. We can sit here and watch it. Like the Knicks.
Do you think Mazzulla is going to keep Porzingis on the bench? You notice he pulled Porzingis last night.
I don't think that he trusts Porzingis enough to keep him playing 5 to 10 minutes at a time. So that's why he pulls him. He's like, if I could get 5 or 10 minutes out of him, just being on the inside, throwing up shots, blocking shots, just being an inside presence, the Knicks are going to get confused. So he played right into the Knicks. Like the Knicks were confused. They didn't do anything. They were very stagnant. I will say this. I think it's bad on.
Yeah. Why do you think that they were stagnant yesterday? They did look stagnant
because
you think they had the series won? Because of Tatum going out or something?
No, it's just all these guys are playing 35 minutes plus, and he's not using the bench like he should be using them. And this is a long series. This is a difficult situation to be putting a team on, strenuous situations to come back 15 plus points every single game. Man, that's not easy to do. Like, think about it, Robert. If you're playing backyard ball and you're down by 5, the first thing that pops in your head is if I just shoot a 3, I can just kind of get back into the game. This is 20 friggin' points, and they're taking threes as if they were like a 3-point shooting team like Golden State, and they're not. The Knicks are not as good.
The Knicks.
Yeah, the Knicks are not as good, and Boston's doing it anyway because that's how they play. But you're playing right into their hands if you're just taking threes, man. Like, I don't know. Like, if I know the biggest issue that Boston has is the fact that they have problems staying out of foul trouble, you can attack them and get Brown in foul trouble, White in foul trouble, and Porzingis in foul trouble. You just attack the basket. Why do you have?
I expect them to play well and close this thing out. But if it goes back to Boston, I mean, you got to be really nervous if you're a Knicks fan, man.
I just think all these basketball games in this particular round, any team can win. Like even the Cleveland game the other day, they finally got beat, but they were in a position to come back and get back in the game.
Yeah.
It was, it was good to watch that they were competitive. It was terrible that they didn't have enough depth because that's what it looked like, that they were 2 players short. But these have been good games in the last 5 minutes of every game. So
yeah, it has been really good. We'll see what happens. I feel like we really nailed that Minnesota series. Golden State, a part of the fatigue factor. You got 2 35-year-old lead guys there with a 37-year-old coming off that hard 7-game series. We saw what happened with the hamstring there the other night with Steph Curry. Now they're eliminated, and I couldn't be happier. I don't care for him. I never have liked him. I liked Kerr as a coach. I don't like his Popovich, although he's nowhere near as bad as Popovich, his lectures and stuff. Is this the last hoorah for Golden State? I said it for 3 years, but I do think it is this time.
Well, I feel like
they're not getting any younger, are they?
No, but the kids that they do have, the young kids that do have, you can build something from that. You got him, you got Kamara, you got
Kuminga.
Kuminga, you got what's this?
Well, I feel like there's a little tension there with him and the Kerr pulled him late in the regular season because he was ignoring getting the ball back to Steph and not playing with the confines of the offense.
Right.
He made a little bit of a comeback, but I feel like he's probably made his mind up, Kerr and the organization. I think Kuminga may be dealt
Yeah, he might be done. Yeah, and then there's
Yeah.
Sosa.
So
That kid's good.
he's gotten off on the wrong track, and I don't think he can get back on the right track with Steve.
Yeah, look, if the Knicks can pick him up, I like the kid. I think he fit right in with the Knicks. They need that kind of player who can play both sides of the ball. He plays pretty decent defense, and he can score. He just needs to be on the court, and he has to have confidence. That's it. But like they have the Sosa kid. Golden State they have like a couple players that can build on. I don't know. I would make a move to get Giannis. I mean, why not? You got you got opportunity with these guys. Draymond moving on. You can move away from him. If you got to move away from Stephen, then you got Giannis right there. I would make a move. Like Stephen ain't getting any younger, so he might play 2 more years. Maybe?
Yeah, he's 30. He'll be 38.
Yeah,
so
he can't play forever. So
I mean, he's got to take a lesser and lesser role on a team. He's kind of going into that LeBron phase.
This is an opportunity for Golden State to make all the right moves, but if they don't make any moves, and that's it. This is what you're saying. It's over for them. If they don't make any moves right now, it's over for them. They gotta get a superstar in there. They got a little group of nucleus to move on and move forward with. And if they don't use the time that they have right now and the money, find the money to get the right person in there, I would definitely look to get a player like Giannis for sure. Like,
yeah, they might do that. I don't know what they give up for him, but there's going to be a lot of teams lined up to get Giannis. I think Houston's got the ammo to get him.
Yeah, but
that's who the team I'd probably talk to first.
But if you're Giannis, what team do you want to be on? You're going to see the last 4 teams and who the last 4 teams played to get into the championship. And be like, I'm going to be on one of those 8 teams. I don't want nobody else calling me.
He would fit in with the Knicks probably the best because they play hard like he does. But I'm hearing like Brooklyn.
Nah, man.
Just some bad teams. I forgot there was another team that wasn't that good that was in his sweepstakes, and I'm like, these teams aren't even contenders.
No, exactly. Like
Golden State, it would really be Houston if Houston can keep some of their young talent around him. Keep what's that guy's name? Sujun and Amen Thompson and maybe Jalen Green and some picks. We'll see what happens there. I mean, that's going to be a good storyline to follow.
Yeah, for sure.
Summertime.
And I'm like, look, it's not a thing. It's not a knock on Kevin Garnett. I mean, not Kevin Garnett, but what's his name? Oh my gosh, it's in my mind. Kevin Durant. Not a knock on him. I would do exactly.
Giannis is like 6 years. I mean, he's 4 or 5 years younger.
Yeah, I would do what he did though. Like, who is the most competitive? Who is the most ready?
Oh, right. Yeah,
just jump on that because you're not in the NBA. You're not building up teams in 2-3 seasons. It's taking 4 seasons. 5. Look at what it took for Denver to build up to where they're at. Look at what Detroit's have been going through. Look at teams like Boston. It took a long time for Boston to get where they were at. You're not. It's not an easy. So if you're a top tier player, and you can actually bring other younger players to come with you, you might as well take advantage of that situation.
Yeah. That's a good story to follow. Thoughts on Minnesota? They get past. They went through 2 5-game series. I think they're primed and ready to get to the finals. Obviously, OKC is going to play tonight.
Right.
Hopefully, they can close Denver out. I don't know if they can in Denver. It would be good for OKC if you do that. You don't want to keep, risking injury or not with an extra game there. What do you think about this Minnesota team? You don't think they can win the championship? I think they have a very good chance to win.
No, I don't. I think they're further away from winning the championship than Detroit is. I think they've lucked out and being in series.
You think it's just the luck of the draw?
Yeah, and being in series where the teams that they're playing, they're actually formidable, competitive with, and they match up pretty well with. But I don't see that they're a team that can close out anybody. Just watching them play, and letting the team come back and being competitive in Golden State yesterday, I was like, yo, you had this game tied up in the second quarter. The third quarter comes in and Golden State's third team, their B team comes out and it starts making a run,
Yeah.
and they couldn't even score. They had players. They had Randall. They had the Gobert. They had all these players. They had all these guys, the starters on the team, playing the third team of Golden State, and they couldn't score. Like, what's going on over here? Like, so I still think I think Edwards is good. I think he can. I think he needs to be a little bit more of a team player towards the end, make more passes, not take every shot.
Oh wow, yeah.
He made like, maybe I've seen them in the third and fourth quarter take like 6 to 8 shots that he could have just passed the ball inside and they could have just laid up the ball, but he's just taking shots, which I understand. He's the number one player on the team, but you got to close out the team. You got to keep playing out the game. And even his coach said that to him. Like, if your coach and you're this number one player and your coach is telling you, yo, this game isn't over, you still got to play it out. That's not a good sign, man. That's not a good sign at all. So I expect the next team that plays the Timberwolves to challenge them and maybe even beat them, because
it'll probably be the Thunder. And I have to get in and analyze. I haven't picked that series yet, but I'll have to really dig and find out. I think that'll be a very good series, probably 6 or 7 games.
Yeah, I don't think so. It might go 5.
You think the Thunder's that good?
Yeah, I think whatever team wins that series will beat the Timberwolves out flat, because
you really think the Denver Nuggets, who are like 1-6 against Minnesota?
Yeah,
wow.
I feel like right now Minnesota,
they swept them in the regular season and they beat them last year.
Right, but I think that Minnesota has played out. I think they're tired. I think they're getting the best out they can out of Randall, but that's not consistent enough.
Yeah,
you understand right now. This is the first time.
You're just down on Randall. You know Randall's.
This past game defense, Chinzo hasn't played how he's played in the regular season. Gobert looks like he's up and down. He doesn't look like he wants to be in the championship like playoffs, and he's just kind of there on the team. I feel like their mindset, they still are not ready to move to the next level, where any team who gets on a run can be a formidable competition for them. Like I'm not saying that they're not coached well. I just think they're not playing as well as they should be playing. They should have beat the snot out of Golden State. They came back and they had one game where they did.
Well, Golden State's well coached, man. You know, they got good team chemistry. They just don't have the talent.
They were playing their Golden State was playing their 8 to 12 players off the bench and had troubles in the third and fourth quarter with. I believe they were. Yeah. I believe Golden State had 11 point run on them, like in the third to almost catch up to them, and then they didn't have enough depth to keep pushing it. But you can't. Yeah, you're the Timberwolves, man. You can't let that happen.
I saw that in the Houston series. I think Golden State's just a pretty balanced team. I'd probably try to, if I could do away with Butler and Green, that would be great, and get Giannis with some younger players there. But we'll see, man. You know, I think Minnesota's got a great shot. They got a really good shot.
I just feel like this is they're just.
I mean, out of the teams left, who do you think's got the best chance to win the championship? How would you rank them?
I would.
Somebody's got to win the championship.
Yeah, I think that right now Oklahoma has probably the best opportunity.
Okay.
And then maybe Denver behind them, and I'm not trusting the East.
Even being down 2-3.
Yeah, I'm not, because of their experience, and then they're not, except for maybe that first game. They're in every game. And here's the thing: the NBA did a terrible thing by not allowing them to get an extra day rest. They played at 2 games in less than 36 hours. Like, it wasn't good at all.
For them, yeah. But they lost the other game too, though. So
it wasn't just Denver; it was both teams. That was a terrible game to watch for both teams. Not like, and I'm not saying that I didn't want OKC to win and I want Denver to win. I think both of those teams right now are the 2 best matches right now in the moment, and it was just a terrible watch. Like, it felt like you were watching Division III basketball. Like, it was just bad. Like, I didn't like it, and I think that the NBA made a terrible mistake in trying to push those teams in prime time weekend basketball, and they just, they're not giving the teams enough rest or giving them, I think, the respect that they should have to put you can have these games on prime time on any day,
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch a playoff game. It's NBA playoffs. Like, I don't think they have. Are they having number issues that they can't push a game on to another day?
All I know is they've done that for a long time. I do like the fact that they just give them one day off. They don't need to give these older players a week off. They need to come in that shape and get things squared away. That's what Magic Johnson said. These players ain't in shape. That's why they're getting hurt all the time.
Yeah, well, they're not. But again, if you know going in knowing that these players are not peaking or are far from where they should be, you're gonna double up a game on that. You're gonna watch.
Hey, the tough teams win. That's your build to win championships. And
yeah, but these teams they're not tough. They're just playing basketball, and it's a hard watch. Like, if I'm tuning out of NBA to watch a Major League Baseball game, that's not even a playoff baseball game, or even to watch a little bit of Stanley Cup, that's not good, right? Especially if I'm a basketball fan. I'm like, well, I can watch the fourth quarter. The second and third quarter is terrible, so I'll just go watch some hockey and I'll go watch some baseball, and then I'll get back to it in the fourth. That's not good.
Well, that's just your. I just think that these players need to keep playing.
So you watch that whole game?
It's too much of a players' league right now.
You watch that whole game without turning the channel?
No, I always fast forward through the stoppage and play. I fast forward through free throws. I watch all these games on delay. That's why it's delayed when I send you a text that I want to make sure I'm caught up. But the ESPN half times I fast forward. Now, of course, the TNT people, I'll listen to them.
Right.
When they've got Barkley, and I don't know why they got a lot of substitutes in there. I guess they've got life stuff going on. But, I do like Kenny, obviously, Barkley, of course, and Shaq, but it's hard to get all three of them together. But that's your little kid, your girl.
Yeah, I got a little visitor. She comes in and out sometimes. I'm too proud. She loves her daddy, but I love her too. So
yeah. So, anyways, this Indiana team could surprise some people and mess around and get to the finals. What do you think about this team, man? Young got a lot of team chemistry, right mixture of young and older.
Yeah, I feel like I'm watching the Boston Celtics of 3 years ago. The team that's coming to fruition that slowly, they got Halliburton's like Tatum, and then you got some of these guys on the inside. You got a few shooters. I still feel like they might be missing a player or two, but these are competitive-minded basketball players. They're young. Yeah. They don't have a memory, so I feel like this is just watching them. I'm like, man, this reminds me of watching basketball like a few years ago when Boston was coming out, and and you're like, are they gonna make it? Are they gonna make it? And they haven't peaked yet, and now they've peaked, after season 3. So this team will be a good team. This team is scary because they are young and they don't have a memory. So I feel like if either the Knicks or the Celtics end up playing them, it's going to go to 7 games because this Indiana team will give away a game. Unfortunately, they'll give away a game.
You have to play a half-court game. I don't know what and I know you can do it with the Knicks because Brunson's a very good point guard. But, man, if I'm coaching against that Indiana team, I'm slowing the pace down.
Right.
I'm going to do a lot of high pick and roll, and I'm getting down in 10 seconds because they like to run and play that pace. They're like a college team in the tournament, man.
Right. They like the open court. They will all the way. The worst though is when they stand up and shoot the 3, and I'm like, you were on the you are a 1-on-3 and you stop and shoot the 3. Like, what are you doing?
Right.
I'm not. That's not my team. I'm not the coach. I've always liked Halliburton. I just feel like he's in a good place right now. They got the one of those old players.
Siakam.
The Siakam is a solid player. The player that came from the Knicks, he can fly.
Oh, Toppin.
They have a good mix of guys of good basketball. They need a great basketball. I mean, they need one great basketball player to kind of balance that team off. You can't just.
I don't know, man. They could shock everybody. I mean, the Knicks better be ready.
They're young and they have a lot of energy and very competitive and it's good basketball to watch them and they're never out of a game, never. So that's why if they play the Knicks, it's almost like it's almost a mirror match.
Yeah,
they'll definitely go to 7.
That's going to be a great series. It went 7 last year.
If they play Boston, the same thing. It's they're two teams shooting.
That would be if Boston makes to the Eastern. I mean, you guys will definitely. I'm sure the cries for Thibodeau's job will be really loud.
I love the Knicks. I'm a Knicks fan, but why is everybody counting Boston? You know, Boston won games without Tatum and before. They know how to play without him.
But beating a team like this Knicks team that's good as the Knicks have been playing to finish these games off without, that would be a collapse. Plus 3-1. There's not too many teams that came back from 3-1. We're talking maybe 5 or 6 in the history of the game.
But you're talking about a team that's been minus 10 points in the by the beginning of the third quarter to try to catch up to end the game.
Yeah, that part is true.
You can't do that. That's not a winning formula, man. It's just not.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So
that's a good point. But you got that 3-1 lead. They really got the odds still really heavy. They need to close this thing out up in Madison Square Garden. I think it's going to be tomorrow night, isn't it?
I feel like this season, one of the hardest things they've done all year, and one of the things that they've been doing lately, which is why you call them Captain Clutch, is they don't close out the game. They didn't close how many games did they lose less than 10 points this season? They could have been a 2 seed. The Knicks could have been a 2 seed.
Yeah, they're playing tomorrow at 7:00 Eastern. Yeah, okay.
And
the Knicks are favored by 3. So, he did coach under Doc Rivers for a while, and Doc Rivers is known to blow 3-1 leads. So, if they blow this league and lose this series, Thibodeau got it honest, and people will be calling for his job. I just don't think it's going to happen.
He should have been coaching for the last. I keep telling you this. Since he's gone here, I was like, he's not done anything different than he's been in the last 3 teams. Why are you expecting him to be in a championship game?
Well, because they got the lead, man.
What has he done to prove that he can get over the hump and put you in a championship game?
Oh, I know they've got to get more fluidity. Although they have since Game 3 of the other series with Detroit. They have had more fluidity in the offense. It's not all hero ball. I noticed Brunson's shots are going down. His shot selection's getting better. And quite frankly, like I said the other day, I don't know if you heard me or said it to you, but Mitchell Robertson and Karl Anthony Towns are simply outplaying Al Horford. And, of course, Porzingis, whose energy is out. They're really getting that advantage on the inside. They just got to defend the perimeter better. And
but Robert,
I know Boston just got red hot last night.
Al Horford is older than us.
Horford's 38, so
you should be.
He might as well be 43.
Yeah, he should be. He should be getting outplayed.
I'm sure he's probably going to retire at the end of this season. Man, I got to get have you ever seen something like what happened in Dallas on the lottery night where you have a player, we've seen this in the NFL before, but a very good player I think Cooper Flagg, I don't think he's as good as LeBron.
No.
But I will say this, he feels like a can't miss. I thought Wembanyama was a can't miss.
Okay, hold on a second.
From what I saw with LeBron, I thought LeBron was a can't miss, even coming out of high school. He might have not lived up to that super hype that ESPN had him on.
Right.
But I felt like I feel like Cooper Flagg is not. What do you think about a guy like this going to a ready-made team, man?
Here's the thing, Robert. Here's the thing. He might be a can't miss, but is he a number 1 draft pick?
Yeah.
You think so?
Can't misses are number 1 picks.
Not always.
He's got the speed. He's got that court vision like LeBron's got.
Duke,
he's got that hanging shot that's hard to defend and block like a Luka. Except he's in much better shape now. He's only 18 years old.
So
he
Duke
can come off the bench.
Yeah, but here's the thing: Duke won the ACC championship without him.
Yeah.
Right. And then they're like, so, and they had 17 double-digit victories without this guy on like in and out of the lineup. So yeah, I feel like he's a can't miss, but I don't feel like he's a
They
number
won
one.
games without Kyrie. We saw what Kyrie. I mean, Kyrie's a big time player, man.
But I think for me, if you're talking about strategy and talking about building up a team and trying to get a championship team put together, like you can't put this guy, you can't choose a number one. I would sell the pick to the 76ers and
what?
Get more pick. You got to build it, bro. You think Dallas right now?
In NFL, you do that. You don't do that in the college.
Well, you better do something.
And they already let it be known.
Do you think the Mavericks have a team to just add one player like Cooper Flag and to win a championship? No, sir.
Flag. Here's the thing: Flag don't have to carry this team. You're talking about Cooper Flag as if he's going to who's a pretty sorry team, the Washington Wizards. Utah Jazz. This guy, he don't even have to carry the load. He can learn under Anthony Davis. He can learn under who's the other?
You don't need
Klay
anybody.
Thompson.
If he's the number one player, you need him on the court and learning from anybody.
At 18 years old, you still have a lot of learning to do. The talent's going to be there. Remember how young James Harden was when he was coming off the bench for OKC?
Yeah, but he was
He was money off that bench.
Yeah, he was a 6 man though.
6 man. That's what I would do. And he's working with a world-class former point guard in the league with Jason Kidd. He could not have found a better situation than this Dallas Mavericks team.
I feel like if he could be on any team and benefit any team, it'd be the 76ers. For a lot, the 76ers.
Philly. What are you, Philly sports guy now?
No.
Paint your face green.
No, because I feel
like Jamie Pags.
I feel like Dallas is still in a transition phase, right? And you got to put this kid on the court, man, and you got to get your money's worth out of him, man. You can't just be like, oh well, put him in the pocket. He's got to play, man, and he's got to make his money. And I don't feel like he's a number one pick, to be honest with you.
Wow.
I don't feel like there's many guys right now in the NCAA basketball that you could say as a true number one pick. Now you could pick him in the first round. You could do whatever you want if you're a owner in the GM.
He's one of the best talents. He's not the hype of a 7'3", 7'4" women. I think women. I'm a 7'4", ain't he?
Do you think
he's not that guy?
Do you think?
But there's not too many players that is talented as he was coming out.
Do you think he's a player like a Nakeem Olajuwon or a Patrick Ewing type?
Well, those are all centers.
Yeah.
He's been compared to Tatum.
Do you think he's
look how good Tatum was early on? But he came in with another young guy, a Jaylen Brown.
Right. Do you think he's a Tim Duncan type of guy?
Yeah. I think he can complement. Who's he complimenting? He can complement AD like Tim Duncan complimented David Robinson. What did David Robertson win before Tim Duncan?
You think right now Anthony Davis is a player comparable to David Robinson in this moment in his career?
No, he can complement him.
No, but what I'm saying to you, you're comparing Anthony Davis to David Robinson. At this point,
he might be a better defender than David Robertson. You know?
Anthony Davis is compared to David Robinson right now?
I would probably you could probably make an argument he's a better scorer than. I have to dig in the numbers. Robertson was not that great a scorer. He's a good defender, excellent shape all the time.
Didn't he have double-double?
But they never did win nothing until they got point guard play.
To that point, yes. They rarely won.
I don't remember David Robinson ever had 45 points like Anthony. Anthony Davis could score. We forget that. Yeah, now, he didn't score much with LeBron. He laid on his defense. He played more down in the paint.
I think the problem is that these are two different types of basketball that we're talking about here. So I don't feel like Anthony Davis can help Cooper Flag out or compliment him.
Well, you got Klay Thompson. I'm just saying, older vets, he can learn from them. He don't have to carry this team. He's going into a great situation, man.
I feel like this whole Cooper Flag and Dallas Mavericks thing is more like a Sacramento team from 5 years ago, 4 or 5 seasons ago, than it is what you're thinking. And I say that with the grain of salt. You know, like that Sacramento team, they had Halliburton, they had Buddy Hield, they had all the number 1 picks, and they had some of the older guys there, and they tried and tried. They had what's this guy from they had this guy's son from Portland, Sabonis. They had Sabonis.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they had a lot of guys, and you were like, oh, this Sacramento team is primed they have all the young guys, and they're primed to get it together and get into a championship team, and nothing. I feel like that's Dallas, but with older players. Like they're primed to play basketball. And
now they're trying to get a point guard. Maybe they go out and get I did read that yesterday. Maybe they go and let Kyrie go, which is no big loss there.
Yeah,
and get a Derek White or somebody.
Yeah, I don't feel like if you add Cooper Flag to the Dallas Mavericks that you're going to make that big of that big of a move, a step up, and put yourself in the last seed of a playoff contention. Like I just don't. I
think he's an 18-10 guy right off the bat as a 19-year-old. That's coming off your bench. In 3-4 years from now, he may be 25-10 and 7 assists.
I want to know exactly what it is and how healthy he really is, and if he has recuperated from what he was as a college basketball player. Can he get over that mental aspect, and can he stay healthy?
Well, he came back from an injury and almost got to a championship.
Did he win a championship? Did Duke?
Yeah, it was very close. Did Kyrie? Did Tatum? Those both, by the way, they both went to Duke. Yeah. So that myth that Dukes don't really put out good pros, that's really a myth.
I mean,
they've got some good pros. Those last 2 guys have got championships, you know.
I think with the Duke thing is that most certainly is that they put out great players, but these great players are always a compliment to the other great players that are not from Duke.
Yeah, you know but I'm saying you're undermining the team he's going to.
This
is a very good team.
I'm not undermining him. I am looking at this team as they're over 30 average age. Most of these guys are contractual situations that they don't want to be in, as far as not on the team, but they don't want to be in a contract situation where they have to think about not moving on. And I just don't. You put a young guy in a situation like that, and I just don't think. I don't think it's a good fit. If you're a Dallas fan and you gave up all what you gave up, and you had this thing that you thought that losing this guy to the Lakers was a huge hit him. It was, to me, I feel like that was a good thing for them to let that money go. Listen, Dallas, you're gonna be struggling like the Sacramento Kings for the next 5 seasons, and
they're not going to.
I see
those guys long term.
Again, that's how I see. You asked for my opinion, and that's how I see that team.
Okay.
I don't see them like a San Antonio making moves to get better, to get into a playoff mix. I see them making financial moves and trying to stretch their dollar, and that's not how you build a team. It's difficult. It's a difficult situation.
It's a good situation. That's all arrogant. And plus, I'm saying they could build from Derek Lively, who's very young, and who's the other young guy? Oh, PJ Washington. I mean, that is a loaded squad, man. That is an absolute load. And after Klay Thompson and AD phase out, then you've got a guy like this growing with these guys. Then you can add something. They're going to have cap room. I mean, they really got lucky there. Do you think they should change the draft lottery? Do you think that lottery was rigged, like it's what was going on the internet?
It feels like it's kind of rigged, to be honest with you. But they said that about the Knicks when they got Patrick Ewing. So
1985, yeah.
To me, it's not. What matters to me is like where these kids are going, and can they make themselves better players where they go. And when you see these picks when you see what happened to Buddy Hill and Halliburton, and when they went to Sacramento, everybody was like, "Oh, it's a good situation. Everybody there is first round picks for the last 3 seasons." It wasn't, and you saw them struggle when they tried to make it to a playoff run and they couldn't. Either coaching or their health or whatever it was. Look, these kids, they're just kids at the end of the day, and they have to grow up and they have to mature and they have to build themselves up to be better basketball players. And Cooper Flag will probably be a good player in 3 to 5 years. I don't think he's going to do well in that situation now. It just seems like there's no stability there. There's no good infrastructure.
Well, they're in the finals last year.
There are a bunch of names, yeah, but they're just a bunch of names and they're selling jerseys. I don't feel like it's a good situation yet. Maybe in the next 2 years, but they have to understand and they have to know what they're doing. What's their plan, right? Like you just said, oh well, Klay Thompson and AD, they got a foot out the door, yeah, because they're contractual and then they require a lot of
older players and they'll move off those guys.
Yeah, but
if
you're bringing me in, I'm looking forward for that. No, I'm like, okay, I'm going to lose two former formidable all-stars because that's what you tell me they are. And now what am I going to get in return for that? I don't, look, if me and you were on a basketball team, you're playing point guard. I'm playing the three, or the two. I'm playing the two because I'm not big enough to be a three. Are we going to pick up another point guard? We're going to pick up 2 more point guards because they got great handles? Because they were the best in college basketball?
Yeah.
That's not. It doesn't make your team better. It just has a bunch of guys on the team that look, man, like I feel like the business of basketball has gotten so big that it's hurting these teams. And like I said, in my opinion, I feel like this is more like a Sacramento team from 4 or 5 seasons ago than it is a team like San Antonio that's slowly taking these pieces and building them up with Wembanyama. The only problem is
they got a potential super talent there, and they got the number 2 pick. So we'll see how that plays out. So about this lottery, I like the fact that they made it where it's 14% chance of winning the lottery. So you got it where teams can't just tank their way to prosperity. They have to be competitive. I actually like that. Remember, Atlanta had the low chance last year.
Do you feel bad for Charlotte or no?
No. Charlotte has to go out and pay for a general manager and scouts and do it that way instead of just being like Utah. Now I do like Danny Ainge, but hey man, you got the 5 pick, you had the worst team. You're going to have to use some of those picks to eventually accumulate some talent there. Maybe he does pick good with that 5 pick to put somebody. What's that guy's name? Larry McLaurin or whatever.
Yeah, but those 3 teams, Charlotte, Utah, and
Washington,
the Wizards. I mean, this is why I feel like the United States professional sports should have the same thing that European soccer. Just have different levels. You have the Premier League, and then you have the Division 1, Division 2, Division 3. Like, because you have to have like some kind of feeder system. You gotta protect these guys, man. Like you're ruining a lot of kids' lives who are talented by putting them on teams, and then making it look like they have very little talent because of the situations that they are as far as management, coaching wise, or both. Like it's just bad. Like who would want to be a top 10 pick and go want to be in Charlotte and think that they're going to fix that situation? Yeah. What player right now?
This guy has to get it together. You get a lot of money. That's the way it's set up, man. Would you like to change it where, and Mad Dog Russo said, maybe you just take the top, I think it was Dan Patrick. Him and Dan Patrick were talking about that. I want to credit them for that idea, not that I came up with it. But let the bottom 4 teams get the shot at the lottery there, okay? Everybody else that didn't make the playoffs does not get a shot at the lottery. And then Mad Dog says, but the winner of those 4 teams, they play in a tournament, the winner would get the number 1 pick, and then who finishes second will get the 2, 3, and 4 that way. So you're doing everything you can to prevent tanking.
Right. So
tanking's bad for the league.
So that's
it's throwing the games.
Right. So that's the idea of regulation, right? That's the same idea of regulation, except for it's not your team trying to get picks. It's your team trying to make it back into the first division, into the premier division, and then stay afloat on the first division. Right. So they're just taking.
You're saying those teams shouldn't even be in the NBA.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is that they're taking the idea of regulation and flipping it to where it's like draft picks instead of actually coming in and ranking in the first division in the premier division.
No, I don't think you have to do all that. I think that the teams just got to get this is, and I said this before. Colin Cowherd said this yesterday, like this was a big phenomenal thing. I said this for years. This is not a coach's league when it comes to the coaching and the management. It's a general manager. It's guys like Sam Presti, Danny Ainge that are making big things happen there. When he built the Boston Celtics, the late great Jerry West, when he built Golden State, it's a general manager's league. You got to know who that kid is in Lithuania. You know who's the next Luka. You got to know all these college players. But also, I do think that I still say this: these players need to be playing in college or semi-pro a little bit longer so they can contribute quicker in the NBA.
But you're feeding right into what I'm saying, though. Like if there was regulation.
Now the reason why I say Cooper Flagg's in a great situation, you're not hearing me. He does not have to carry the team at 18 years old. He can come off the bench. There's not a big spotlight on him like it would be if he went to a Washington or Utah and whatnot. He's coming off the bench. He's not expected to lead them championship. Nobody usually does, other than maybe Magic Johnson in 1980. That's a prime example right there of a young player coming to a ready-made team 40 years ago plus, coming to a ready-made team, playing with the Hakeem Olajuwon or Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, excuse me.
Right.
Playing with Kareem, by the way, Anthony Davis has a championship. Kareem had a championship. You know, he can contribute. It's not all on although Magic took it and ran with it. But it's not all on him. I wish Flagg would have stayed another year.
Right.
But now he's coming in a good situation rather than say, okay, kid, you got the hype up. You lead this team to a championship here in 2 or 3 years, or you're a bust.
Yeah, but the difference, you're talking about
Magic Johnson. See what I'm saying?
Yeah, but you're talking about Magic Johnson, and you know he got the playing time because Kareem got hurt. Kareem was old. You know,
he played center, but he was starting all throughout.
Right. So Kareem got hurt, and Magic Johnson stepped in and he led the Lakers.
But he wasn't off the bench. He was brought in as a starter. Yeah.
He came in and he was already coming off the bench, and he came in and just started instead of
maybe at the beginning.
Yeah. So that's his story. Like that's how. Look, I don't feel like Cooper Flagg can be a Magic Johnson, and if AD got hurt, he can be the one.
Well, no, that's different. But my point is,
that's my point.
To play under a guy like that, under a team like that.
That's my point exactly. Like you're picking Cooper Flagg as number one, and you don't think he could lead a team if your player gets injured. So he's not a number one. That's to me.
Well,
right?
Here, I watched the Winning Time series. I watched that. The team did not think Magic can do what he did. The coaching staff said, Magic, we think you can do this. And Magic, with his supreme confidence, says, I do think I can do it. That was just one game. That wasn't like throughout the season.
Okay.
That was in the finals. I watched the whole series, and that was off of a book. Everything's pretty factual, that part.
How many times did Magic...
He didn't do it for the whole season, man.
How many times did Magic Johnson go to a college basketball championship?
He won over Indiana State with Michigan. I think he played like 2 years at Michigan State.
Yeah, and in those 2 years, he went.
Which is making my other point that the players need to stay in college longer, but that's a whole different argument. Yeah.
So, to me, I'm not saying Cooper Flagg is not a good player. I'm just saying, even the team that he was on didn't need him to move forward to play in the playoffs.
They beat North Carolina. We found out later wasn't that good a team this past year.
Right, but still, he was still not on the team.
And they had a pretty deep team around him there as well. Cooper Flagg is 18 years old, getting 25 points 77 when he came back quick from that ankle injury too.
And I'm gonna say something. I don't want this to sound.
And they should have played for a national championship. They should have beat Houston. That was a bad call in that game.
I want to say this, and I don't want to sound bad, but if I was Cooper Flagg, I would have just took the NIL money for 2 more seasons.
Well, I wish the league would made him. Man, we done went way off on that subject. I hope that they do get the lottery system squared away. I also say this about the lottery system. I think they should air it like they used to with the little balls coming up in the screen. There's too much fuss about the whole rigging and all that. I don't think it is, but you do got to put this stuff and have that kind of transparency, you know?
Right.
So
you want to see the envelopes with people's logos?
Yeah, I love all that stuff. Hey, so what do you think that any of these games really stick out to you when the schedule got released? I have the Giants, I have the Titans, and the Jets schedule, but you can go off anything. What do you think about this schedule release? Anything in week 1 stick out to you? You think, man, I got to see that. It's going to be nice.
I know people probably not gonna like this, but I like the Ravens in Buffalo on Sunday night.
That's the one I really caught my attention too. It's up in Buffalo.
I like that. I think that would be one of those games that people
come down to one play or something.
Yeah, and then look, when the Titans have to face the Broncos. Denver. I think that's going to be.
I think that's a great storyline with Bo Nix versus Cam Ward.
Yeah, I think we're going to see how not prepared Cam Ward is compared to Bo. Because I made fun of it. We've talked about it before. Bo Nix is like 45 years old or something. He's been in college football forever, and then he finally got transitioned into the NFL when he got drafted. But he's an older player. He's an old soul. And Cam is not. So you're going to see.
Cam's a 4-year guy too, though.
Yeah, I mean, but
23. I don't think Bo Nix is that much older.
You're going to see.
Bo Nix just looks that old because he played for Auburn all them years.
He played for Auburn. He played for Oregon. I think he played for like 3 teams, didn't he?
He's 25, and whatchamacallit's 23. It just seems that way.
Yeah, but you're going to see the different levels. But
it's a great storyline game.
I'm very positive about the Titans and how they put the right tools around Cam.
Yeah.
Compared to the Broncos, the Broncos are still struggling to get their offense together and tools right for Bo Nix. So I hope that they help the kid. I hope they give him somebody more on the offensive line, and I hope that they find a good wide receiver for him because he's been he can throw the ball. So they need to stretch the field a little bit more. So I feel like you're going to watch 2 young teams that are going to be in the playoffs, and it's going to be a fun match, I think. And then with the Buffalo versus the Ravens, you're just going to see 2 teams that are rosters that are Super Bowl ready that are just going to beat each other up.
That's true.
That's true. And you might actually see a season-ending injury that's going to take one of those teams out of the playoff.
You really hope that don't happen.
I don't hope that happens. When I say these things, I'm not hoping that these things happen. I'm just saying this is how not prepared.
A lot of stuff does big happen on these Sunday games.
Yeah, and these players are not well prepared to be playing these games yet in the beginning of the season. So you're going to see some. Unfortunately, you just have to be mindful and you know that these things can happen. And look, I'm not saying that the preseason should be eight games long, but I will say that it's not fun watching football, NFL football, and waiting till week 5 or 6 to see good play. That's just me. So
yeah, that's why you cannot give in too much to the players the way the NBA has.
Right.
And these guys got to do a full training camp. What do you think about this Thursday game with the Cowboys? You could tell the networks really want to just simply feed into the Cowboys' popularity, knowing they're not that good of a team. That being said, it's not going to be a terrible game because Dallas don't have any depth. If you do want to see them play Philadelphia, you want to see them play them early, at least they'll have a little bit of a puncher's chance. But I'd much rather see a Bills play Philadelphia or Commanders play Philadelphia. Remember, the Commanders played them in the NFC Championship game. The Commanders have made tremendous upgrades. I think that would be much more interesting if rather than the Cowboys and the Eagles, man. That was kind of a bad – I didn't like that matchup.
I would rather see the Bengals play Washington, if anything, than to watch the Dallas play the Eagles. Like, these games on Thursday in the beginning of the season are rough. Just rough to watch.
Well, it's good to play a Thursday game to start the season because you got more rest prior to it, you know.
But look, I don't expect the Cowboys or the Giants to be anywhere in the top of the NFC East this season. So putting these guys on prime television is like I feel like a waste of airspace where you could watch a team like that barely gets any until maybe last year, 2 years ago. Maybe let's watch the Rams or the Chargers a little bit more. Like let's maybe watch San Francisco one more game extra. Maybe even Detroit, put them on TV a little bit more. Like,
because they're playing well.
Yeah, let's watch some good football competition. I know every team should try to get nobody wants to watch the Colts play the Dolphins, man. Come on. I mean, those are one of those teams that if you put on,
it's not a prime time. Yeah, that. Now I'll say this: that Rams Houston game will be pretty good. Long as Houston knows that, long as they got their offensive line squared away.
Yeah, so
I like the Rams in that game. Don't get me wrong.
I think these games, September 7th, Seattle versus San Francisco, the Texans versus Rams, and then even on Monday, the 8th with the Vikings versus the Bears. Those all three of them, that's good matchups.
I mean, this Bears team is going to be good. I think the Bears will win that game.
Yeah, I just get your popcorn ready, and those are good matchups. But some of these matchups, man, like the Panthers and Jaguars.
Woo.
You
definitely want to put that one in 1 Eastern.
The Cardinals and the Saints.
That's one of those bottom feeder bowls.
Like the Bengals and the Browns.
Do you have a Giants game that you want to see?
I don't want to see the Giants play at all this season. Like I just want the season to end as fast as possible with the New York teams. What if they upset with the Commanders in Week 1? That just could be Week 1 jitters. Yeah, that's just
luck.
That's just the first 2 weeks of when. I think the Giants will win maybe 5 games, maybe 6 games. I don't think they can win more than that.
I hear you. I
said that last year. Remember, I said that the Jets and the Giants will be picking in 5 and 6 or something.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Good call, Allstate. Yeah. Anything else you need to plug?
I ain't got my khaki pants on, but I do have my khaki shorts on.
Same here.
I've been trying to work on this baseball stuff. It's we're into game 26, 27 already.
Okay.
New York teams are doing very well. I just been caught up in some extracurricular activities. I got my son. I've been talking about it. He's been playing on these Pokemon tournaments, and they've been
okay. When's the next tournament?
I'll be in New Orleans in June 11th.
Okay.
The weekend of the Father's Day weekend, I'll be in New Orleans for the American International Tournament that they got going on down there.
Hopefully, we can get you in a Thursday beforehand so you won't miss the show.
No, I mean, you know me. I try my hardest.
Big easy.
I go to these.
But don't y'all be getting in no trouble now.
Let me tell you, man. Look, we went to Toronto. I didn't get to try no poutine. I was in Atlanta. I didn't get no wings and things. And now I'm gonna be in New Orleans. I don't know if I'll be down there with the Jazz or the Big East. Like it's just tough to get out and roam around when these guys are doing their thing and playing their cards. So I gotta find maybe a babysitter so I can do some of these things. It's fun, man. I support him and what he's trying to do, and his head's in it. He's focused, man. He's like one of those international spelling bee competitors on ESPN from
that'd be awesome.
From 1996. There's like 1,000 kids on the stage, and then in 3 hours later, there's like 2 of them left over. So
What do they win in these tournaments? Pokemon tournaments?
So they win prize money.
Okay.
Like the last one was $5,000, and then they win some cards, like some credit to buy more Pokemon cards.
Okay.
And then they win points to try to qualify to the World Championships. So so it's not for none. It's fun. It's ultra competitive for these kids. Some of these kids, they start out at like age 5, and some of these kids grow up playing.
The Bobby Fischer of Pokemon.
Yeah, I'm hoping. I like it. I like the atmosphere. It's pretty fun. Everybody's out there, and they're not just playing. So
this is his 3rd tournament.
Yeah, and they're playing, and
he's starting to probably get more relaxed and.
Yeah, he's in it. You can tell he's getting better, and they also trade cards. It's a little community, they trade cards. They play amongst each other. They trade tidbits.
So he meets some of the same kids in these tournaments.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. I see some of the parents.
It's like AAU or something, ain't it?
It's like AAU, but for card games. It's exactly what it is.
That's what's up, man. Hey, I'm happy for both of you.
Yeah, hopefully we go to
national. Yeah, keep me updated on that. Text me that weekend.
Father's Day weekend, man.
Yeah, that's what's up, brother. Happy Father's Day in advance. We just had Mother's Day. Give us a break here,
I know. Listen. Just send me my socks and ties. I'll be okay.
You got it, brother. Mad New Yorker, everybody. All right, man. Thanks, man. So, folks, I'll be back here next week talking here on the Sports Scope. If you like the show, please share the show. Have a good night, everybody. I'll see you next week, same time, same place. But stay tuned. Of course, we'll always do really good reruns here on the Real Sports.